as though I have conquered death. I live death every day. I am surrounded by it, smothered by it. Look at you now. He would have everlasting life. You seek to defy death, yet you cannot even defy sleep. And how alike sleep is to death. It is a painted death.
I remember childhood without any friends. Just me and my imagination. So I made up my own friend. Crim's my best bud. I don't know what I'd do without him. But there's some things we should keep locked away. Not the imaginary friends, but the imaginary fiends. Crim, where are you?
What is up, all you fine people? Hopefully I am not muted. Hopefully the sound is okay. Do let me know. You always do. In the comment section if it's not sounding great. And I am absolutely excited to be here with you guys. So I have to go over a couple of housekeeping things. First, of course, I've got to say, my name is Shanth and Jetty, and you're watching Shanth and Jetty Art. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys. And if it's Monday and you're in Australia, love to you. But it's Sunday here in the States. We got some fine people in the chat that we're going to start talking all kinds of silly stuff. So, and doing some painting too. So let us see. We have got Cranberry Langers. Shout out to you, channel member Cranberry Langers. We've got Micra here in the chat. We have got Stephen Rockwood drawing the Alpha, the Omega. My friend, every minute you can spare listening to this stream is a minute that is appreciated, brother. I am so appreciative of everything you do, brother. So have a great one. Make sure you're having a great day. Mr. Bunky Boy 1969. Yeah, absolutely. The dog is absolutely a teddy bear. That is the joy of painting him. And it's great to see you, Mr. Monkey Boy 1969. We have got channel member American Comics Company. You're always in good company when American Comics Company is in the house. That's what I always say. We've got channel member Mighty Geek Studios. Welcome back. It is good to be back, my friend. Oh my gosh. It's just been insane the last couple of weeks. A lot of Nosfero work. I cannot wait to just talk more about it with you guys today and show you what I'm working on with regards to the piece I'm doing for Mike, the piece I'm doing for Razor Fist. All sorts of stuff is every which way. Hail Sean, hail chat, hail Comicsgate, and bananas to all. Absolutely. Absolutely. Love, luck, and lollipops, and bananas to all. That is what we say here. General Piggy celebrates 8 months of membership. Hail, my friend and my friends and Shanth enthusiasts. General Piggy, congratulations on 8 months, and thank you so much for having this channel's back for 8 months. It is very much appreciated. And I think Cranberry Langers had a post in here, if I'm not mistaken, that was an anniversary post. Hang on a minute. Let me find it here. Let me find this this post. Hopefully I can make this work. It's giving me troubles. There we go. Where is it? Yes, Cranberry Langers. Hail, enjoy your Sunday, Monday. All get some chips or do an art today. Do a fun thing. Yes, indeed. Let me get to that. There it is. Celebrating 7 months, Cranberry Langers. Thank you so much for your support. Nosfero, says Hostman Socrates. It is great to see. Hail, I'm excited for Nosfero coming out and Sean's next book. Absolutely, guys. I've got so many things I'm excited about right now that I can't wait to share with you guys. Just a few more days. I know. Gross Point Dank, Dan Lawless, it is great to see you in the house, my brother. Yeah, it has been crazy getting it to this point where I was like, I know the date, I'm closing it. It's been a huge weight off my shoulders just to have that date locked in, because I don't like to lock things in. Give me a chance, Stephen Rockwood, on this request. Let me get there, and it will, yeah. Let me see here. Yes, the paint. Yeah, we will get painting today. Oh, goodness gracious. Hostman Socrates celebrates 3 months of membership. Keep up the great work, Shop. Excelsior. Excelsior to you, my friend. I am so glad that you're celebrating 3 months. Congratulations. The bananas are going crazy. Yeah. This, how do I even... I try to click on things and it never works. Yeah. This show is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. And so is Richie Dupe. Let's just say what it is. So, all right, guys. So, let me tell you some crazy fun, stuff that's been going on. Obviously, I've been on some shows, but I've been just really focusing on doing a lot of Nosfero stuff that I can't do on stream. Working on different aspects of it. The letters came in from Eric Weathers. Very excited about that. So, your money is being put to good use, as it has been this entire time. And I've got some really cool commissions going on. I've got I was working on the bookmark, which is going to go up on the campaign for purchase as soon as I wrap it up, probably today. I don't know if that's when it's going to go up, but it's going to go up soon, and I'll make an announcement. Working on the trading card pieces, just tightening up a couple details, things that changed a little bit as the story went, on. I kind of adjusted a few things. But yeah, guys, it's been amazing. And of course, some of you guys have been talking about this. I showed off just some sketches of an idea that I came up with in 2017, way back when. I actually just found the first sketch I did of it. And it was just something that I didn't really have a story for. And as time has gone on and as I've spent time working on Nosfero And I know, the next book I do, or the next campaign I do, is going to be something Nosfero related in terms of the art-only book and things I've already created, because I want to put something out without the pressure of, having to create it from the ground up, right? That's the great part about doing all this stuff. And one of the things about it that has been really kind of exciting is I felt my... when I scheduled the date of the campaign closing, which is July 13th, guys, just 5 more days on the campaign. We're doing great. I am so grateful to Comicsgate and so grateful to all of you folks in this space, whether you're Iron Age or whatever you are, guys. I hope I always make it clear how grateful I am. But it just made it so I felt like my brain could kind of come back online. And immediately I started feeling that passion for making videos and streaming again. Because, you get to the end of a project and it's a very intense thing. And it wasn't like a difficulty in like letting go of the project. I know some people have that, completely understand that's a thing. But for me, I have to kind of know things are actually just physically done and organized. And it's a very different thing. It's not so much creative as it is logistical for me. And once I do that, I feel so much more relaxed, like a weight's been lifted off my shoulder. And I think, like I cleaned my studio up today, which you wouldn't be able to tell, but it was just piles of boxes and organizational things. And I finally got around to doing that. I did you guys saw it at the start of the show, I did a cut of the CYBERFROG trailer and made some logo stuff for that, which was fun. I've already made... Gosh, I wrote a song for Rob as I was coming out of it. Hail, shout out to Rob, the Replicator. So all this different stuff going on. But so here's the funny thing. So today I wanted to share this with you because it just made me laugh. So I go in to schedule this stream on Ecamm. And when I go to type the title in, they have a little icon. And the icon is fire. Like it's a fire emoji. And I go, what the heck is this? I know, man. Rest in peace, Rob Arnold. You're absolutely right. And it's fire, man. And thank you so much. The cleaning is my joy. And I click on it. It has all these AI generated titles, and I just keep clicking on them. And they're so they're hilarious. They're preposterous. No, he's alive. Cranberry Langers. He's alive. He's alive. It's just he's been sick for a while, so it's one of those things. And I was laughing so hard. Like they had emojis in them. They were like, crushing it, the dark, crazy world of this and that. And I was just dying laughing. And I went, I'm using these. So I'm going to use these for a while just to see what happens, man. That's right, man. Laugh out loud, Nosfero, all mine. That's exactly right. It is, absolutely. Yeah, don't worry. And Rob's okay. So anybody worried about that? It did sound like that, Cranberry Langers. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it was a little scary. I've seen no proof that Rob is alive. We need proof of life. Agreed. Yeah, we need Rob. Rob lives. Rob is everlasting. But we see all the time how it is where it's like we work ourselves into the ground, and there's that feeling of we got to stream. And for the last couple of days, there was a particular situation going on with our neighbors to the north. Actually, not last couple of days, last month or so, and we've been getting some of that down our way, and I have not been feeling great. So I've been just trying to kind of get the work done with, no pun intended, a cloudy mind. And it's been a little nuts. And so now I'm kind of back to it, Robble13, it is great to see you. Hail to you on this fine Sunday. I hope you're having a good one. And so it's, you really can't do much of anything when you feel that way. So it was nice to be able to kind of go on and be excited. And with, Michael with his campaign, the Lucent, which has just been crushing it. Are we at 45K yet? I can't really check on Ecamm, and that's the price we sort of pay for. It's the price we pay for the resolution that we have here. Otherwise, my paintings look like they're, my painting process looks like it was filmed on a Game Boy, which is suboptimal, as they say. But do let me know, and I can zoom out just a little bit, or I can zoom in optically, which is sort of nice here. So we can make this stuff happen. But I am really excited. Yeah, he broke 45K a day ago. Excellent. I love to hear it, man. Love to hear it. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, and I already have respiratory stuff, and it was not great, man. It was not great. But I'm so proud of him. Congratulations, Michael Bancroft. I usually only play this for super chats and such. And actually, you know what? I didn't play it for membership chats too, because we had 3 members chats. So let me do this. Let's catch up.
Charge!
1.
Charge!
2.
Charge!
3. And 1 more.
Charge!
And Michael B makes 4. Guys, it has been great. It's been a great time in CG. People are trying out all sorts of cool stuff. I saw recently that Rini, because I'm a channel member of Eric July's channel, that Rini's doing a poster. I think she's going to be on his show tonight, so congratulations to Rini. I just see a lot of great stuff happening, guys. It's hard not to be positive and enthusiastic about all of this stuff. I was sitting there, and I really, Hostman, I really appreciated what you had to say about the CyberFrog trading card, because I'm really proud of it. I worked really hard on that thing, but I keep thinking, man, if I'd had that PVC and the action figure I have over here, then I could have done some cool photo reference. But yeah, 4 cheerleaders. Yeah, exactly. But it was just, I mean, I loved making that artwork, and I want to do more CyberFrog. I have a bucket list of things I want to do. I want to do a godlike piece. I definitely want to do a godlike piece for Malin. If he ever commissions me to do a godlike piece, that would be just fantastic. And I definitely want to do something for Eric July at some point, which is, to me, I am just so, I don't know what would be visually right for that in terms of that stuff. Like I don't have a painting in my head. I mean, I've had a couple, but I don't know if I've got the definitive thing yet. But that would be a blast too, because I just love what we're doing in the indie space right now, guys. Oh, would love to do a commission for Shane Davis, because I love kaiju. We both like the same movie, Shin Godzilla. I'm a massive Shin Godzilla fan. I have the Yuji Sakai sculpt of it over there. I've got 3 Shin Godzillas in this room. So yeah, that's the stuff I'm excited about, man. Today is the day Shanth will learn, martial science. Yeah, you never know. It could happen. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, that's right. That's how you do it, man. Yeah, the Rini Isom poster looks dope. I'm snagging it. Right on. Gotta do it, man. Gotta do it. Oh, thank you so much, Cranberry Langers. I love all of your commissioned work for other projects. Looks awesome. Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun. I'm trying to think of the stuff I did. I've only done an unofficial Shane piece. But I kind of got my start in terms of my fan base on Instagram doing kaiju art. That was the thing that kind of, went nuts. And that was even before I started incorporating the horror stuff into it. So that would be a really cool thing. That'd be a really cool homecoming thing to kind of do that kind of stuff. Because it's in my wheelhouse, and I also love fighting. I'm a bigger boxing fan than I am an MMA fan. But it's definitely, it's been growing on me. But I'm a big-time old-school boxing fan. So, yeah. That's the stuff. When I think about the stuff I'd like to do, those are some of the things that come up. Because, you look at, to me, I would much rather paint stuff that we're doing here in Comicsgate and here in the indie scene than do other stuff, because I want to promote what we're doing here. I want to promote stuff that's owned by the creators. Hello, Agent Zero. It is great to see you, and channel member Tammy D, it's good to see you in the house, channel member Tammy D. How are you doing? Long time no see. I've been working like crazy. But yeah, that's the stuff I get most excited about. And so if I'm not doing something where I'm creating my own stuff, I want to be painting stuff that's creator owned, because I've always kind of been that way. When I was in college, I actually would do artwork for fun of Steve Ditko's Missing Man, because I was into Pacific Comics Presents and Rocketeer. So that's the stuff I'd like to do, and it's been fun. And frankly, I exercise a lot of that creative, interest I have in our space by doing the video edits and the trailer edits. You guys know, you've been hanging in there. Good. How is Florida? How's it been? Are you guys in sweltering heat, rainstorms, craziness? So are the demon guys from the other story going to be the good guys? Oh, the demon guys. No, the demons are always demons. It's like that was ridiculous what I just said. But yes, the demons are the bad guys in those stories because I'm trying to keep it. I don't want to say I'm trying to keep it true to Lovecraft because I'm trying to take what Lovecraft did and kind of run with it. But I'm a massive fan of the two books I'm going to be referencing, which is The Thing on the Doorstep, The Dunwich Horror, and then just sort of some general Lovecraftery in there. But I want there to be, with all my stories, I want it to be about the power of good facing down. You know, I want cosmic good facing down cosmic horror. That's what Nosfero is about. That's what the book title Almost Slipped and Said is about. So yeah. Oh, it's swamp ass season. Let me tell you something. It's always gator season. So Tammy D, be careful. Those gators are out there in force. I saw that dinosaur-looking gator walking on all fours with his belly. It looked like it was 4 feet off the ground. It looked like you could slide under him and do some work on the engine, for God's sake. That was a gigantic gator. Holy cow, man. Yeah, gators are crazy. You guys watch yourselves. They're out in force. But yeah, I mean, it's that story idea in 2017. And I'm still, of course, I listen to Dunwich Horror almost every night to go to sleep. That is how much I listen to that story. There's 2 stories I listen to when I need to fall asleep and nod off, and that are just chill me out. One is The Hound of the Baskervilles. The other is The Dunwich Horror, which pretty much informs what I do. And that's the stuff I love. Yeah, you got to wash thoroughly. Take your time. That's right. You do have to wash thoroughly. It's been said. Excuse me, let's see here. Sir, they prefer Salvatore challenge. That's right. Oh my gosh, you're killing me. I got Zombie Sama in the mail the other day. God, I can't read. My glasses fell down. And it's so refreshing. None of that. Maybe we're in we were the real monsters all along. Yes. That is what you got it 100%. That is what my stuff is about. My stuff is about getting rid of that kind of ambiguity, because that's how do I word this? We have got so much moral grayness right now that it doesn't even stand out, because moral grayness is something that's interesting when it's built on a foundation of an industry where people are clearly delineating things. But now it's so terribly played, and it's been played for a while. And what's really tricky for people to do is make hopeful stuff. It doesn't mean that you have to abandon certain genres. There's always room for a great take on a great genre. But I do think that, as a general rule, that we're starved for something positive. I was thinking about, I'm trying to come up with a name for the genre of work I do, only to be funny, not because I think it's important. Smack that like, kids. Thank you, Tammy D. Always appreciate it. And I was thinking about how, in the joke from the door. Got it. Yeah, got it. But I was thinking about how, that you have to kind of feel it when you're doing positive stories. Like you've got to kind of be in that mode, and you can't. People can spot when you're being cynical. They can spot when you're just making corn. Although I prefer, frankly, more default level corn to what we're seeing a lot of right now. But the thing I was thinking about today is I need a new genre name, for what I'm doing, because grimdark is really big right now. There's a lot of cool stuff being done in that. But my stuff is I go for a kind of like dark, creepy, fun sort of thing. And I just can't, I'm like thinking like, what would I call that even? It's just like, it's fun dark. I don't know. It sounds kind of ridiculous. But it's just, these are the sort of things I think about when I'm working, which is, I like heroes. Like there was some dark stuff in that first issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There was some dark stuff in the first issue of Spawn. There was certainly dark stuff in Tim Vigil's Faust and Grips, and a lot of the stuff I cut my teeth in. Darker than anything you'd see in Watchmen. And certainly there was some great dark stuff in The Dark Knight Returns, but there's this there's this fun quality that I want to get, like this haunted mansion quality, and that's what it is. Is there a Nosfero battle poster in the works? No, not yet, but I would love to do that with one of my upcoming campaigns. Yeah, Dark Pulp. Yeah, that was the one I was thinking of. I was thinking of, like, do I call it Dark Pulp? But then there's so much great Dark Pulp out there. And I was trying to think of something that would play off of Dark that would just be preposterous, but I haven't been able to come up with it yet. You know, I mean, it's been the way it's been, and I just, because I like universal monsters. I like a little bit of, you know, gore, a touch, particularly with regards to monsters. And I like creepy stuff, but I like stuff that's creepy fun, and I don't like stuff that's super light or super dark. Haven't figured it out yet. Yeah. Supernatural fantasy adventure, Nosfero, that's what it is. You're right, yeah. And I love, you know, I was doing this sketch, because I had a migraine yesterday. It was really annoying. But I was doing this sketch for that other story idea, because when I can't sit at my desk and paint, I draw on my trackpad. And I was drawing this, yet another sacrificial sort of ritual, because that's what happens in my stories and happens in a lot of Lovecraft stuff. But it was a different kind of story. And it was crazy, because I was sort of designing the town and the architecture. It's a little bit based on actual Sleepy Hollow, and then also a little bit based off of some of the towns in New England around here where I live. And that's been the stuff that I've been really wanting to push. And I guess I started thinking that I want to do something that is, like, when I was talking to Eric Weathers, he was saying, he was going, yeah, my son usually helps roughen the letters. And I go, God, I hope he wasn't helping on my book. It's not age appropriate. He's like, no, don't worry. He wasn't. I took care of that one. But I'd like to do something that is like Ninja Turtles, that it's all ages in a sense. But I don't know if I can really go full tilt into that, to be honest, because I do love me some sexy ladies. So maybe Richard Corbin's Ninja Turtle cover for the second issue. But I'm just playing around with that. Yeah, Sean's Dark Verse. Yeah, where supernatural and horror live again. That's Mighty Geek. I love that, dude. I love that, man. That is a great Mighty Geek Studios. You're gonna get a cheerleader for that. Charge! That was beautiful. I love it, man. You sacrifice one thing or another. Any creatures you're thinking of creating that haven't been. Oh wow, that's a really good one. Yes, there's two that are the two creatures, or the two things that are in this. Actually, you know what? That's really interesting. I'd say one definitely is somewhat new. But the things that are in this story right now are, there's one that is a blend of two things I love, which it blends Lovecraft with a very Lovecraft-inspired movie, which is The Thing, you know, and I wanted to do a little Carpenter reference and a reference to the work of Rob Bottin, and I'll leave it at that, because it's very early in the game to be... I may paint and talk about it at some point. You know, I might sketch on it during the stream. Not sure. But I... Yeah, it's a little soon, because I want to make sure, you know, my mind is, again, 100% on Nosfero and these commissions before I think about anything else, because you guys know, those of you guys who've been longtime channel members and channel subscribers who've watched this stuff, and thank you guys so much again for your patience. You know me, if I'm not here, I'm working my tail off or taking care of family. But the thing about it is that you know, when I'm working on stuff, and when I'm thinking about what I want to do creatively, it takes so much, you know, so much focus to do this kind of stuff. And I don't just mean the paying attention, like it's getting in the zone. And sometimes what I was running into, and why I had to take a break, was not that I needed to focus, that I needed to stop focusing, because I was running myself into the ground and not taking breaks. I was sitting in this chair all day and working and working and working and working. I wasn't eating good, wasn't sleeping good. I was just at the desk, man. And it's you. Sometimes your brain will have nothing you can pull out of it creatively, and you'll have no energy to make your work. And there's a lot of elements to us that people think of as artists being, you know, up in your head, but it's really in your hand. It's athletic like anything else. My brother, man, it is great to see you, 80s Made Consumer. How are you doing? We have to get together sometime on your channel and have some fun, man. Let me know. We'll do something fun. Let's see here. Yeah, I love The Thing and Blade Runner turned 45 a few weeks ago. I actually showed, got for my son Blade Runner. I don't think we've watched it yet. We've got to do that. We just watched Tombstone the other night. But I want to watch Blade Runner with my son because he loves Blade Runner 2049, and he's going to flip when he sees Blade... Or did we watch Blade Runner? I think we started it. You can tell my brain's still wherever it is. Yeah. Seanth verse, my preference. There you go. Yeah, Nosfero is the face of this universe. Yeah, he is. He absolutely is. I mean, he is... let's see here. Yeah, one of your books coming out, A's Made Consumer. There you go, man. Anytime, brother. God bless, man. Much love. And this is the thing about it, right? Is that Nosfero, like the seeds of Nosfero are very much in my work before Nosfero was named and became this Comicsgate book, my comic book for Comicsgate. And I've been thinking about that a lot. You know, that if I came into the space, I wanted to know I loved the idea, that it was great, that it would work. And I tried several things first before I did Nosfero. I had an idea, funny enough, I had an idea for a kind of kaiju meets Hulk book, and I had this idea. I had another idea called Bleak Fury, and none of that stuff really resonated with me in a way that I thought it could really bring something into this space that was kind of clear, was, you know, swinging for the fences, and also just I knew I had the just passion for it. I didn't want to force it. And yeah, so Nosfero is very much the heart and soul of everything I'm going forward and doing in comics. When you guys read the story, one of the things you're gonna see is you'll see a lot of, you know, in the art, definitely, but in the words and in the writing and the story I tell in that book, there's a lot of how I see the world and the positivity and the and how you get through those tough times, and the power of relationships, and the power of, you know, having a principle that or principles that you're fighting for, and a compass for what you do. And Nosfero has that, and the characters have that, and the villains are beautiful in terms of how they're designed and they're created, but they're villains. They're straight up villains, and that's the stuff I love the most about it. Yeah, I'm so excited about everything we're doing in this space, guys. So excited. Can't tell you. Jonathan Jetty Art, Blade Runner 2049 is a fun action movie, but the original Blade Runner is really something special. Amen. I cried at the Tears in the Rain monologue. Yes, I quote that a lot. It was that captivating. Yeah, I always say that that line that my friends and I quoted the most from that movie. Whoops, there go a pair of glasses. The line that where the heck did they go? That was hilarious. That we quoted the most from that movie was I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. What was it? Starships or something on fire off the shoulder of Orion. Now that is writing, folks. That is some beautiful purple prose. Shoulder care. There we go. I'm getting there. Let me see here. Yeah, they'll be amazing. Indeed. Yeah, I can't wait. I cannot wait for all of the stuff we're doing in this space, guys. It's going to be so fun, man. Yeah, absolutely. The actor came up with it on the spot, right? I do think Rutger Hauer came up with that on the spot, but I'm not positive. I'm going to need confirmation from you guys. See, look at this, man. Look at all the love in this space. Yeah, share this out, guys. Like if you have not liked already, but judging from the amount of likes we have in here, it looks like everybody's pretty much hit like. But yeah, guys, I want to share some enthusiasm with you because, you know, I was talking to my wife today, and I said, I'm ready for the next phase of what, you know, what this channel is going to be and what Jonathan Jetty Art's going to be. And, I you know, it's just you work and work and work, and you kind of have to just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And then you get these moments where suddenly, you know, you give yourself enough rest and you can think. It's sort of like in a boxing fight when you need time to hold and you need that the rest between rounds so that you can collect yourself. It's a bit like that. And I was just telling Lauren, I said, you know, babe, I really want to get some, you know, medium gray paint and paint the wall behind me. Because right now I've got this light beige, and it's just it's not the best thing for the camera to focus on. Like, I really want to put some time in. I think 80s Made has a great setup, by the way, man. You have a great setup on your channel. But I want to get things looking, just, start putting more time into things. It's just, when people think about me, how much time they want me painting, they usually are not thinking of with a roller, but, it's all part of it. When people come in, and it's to this space, I want them to see things that, that draw them into this space we're making in Comicsgate. Getting new people in here. I know Michael Bancroft talks about it. 80s Made, you're gonna crack me up, dude. But it's one of those things where I really, yes, there it is. Fighter ships on fire off the shores of Orion. That's it. Beautiful, dude. Let's see here. Yeah, if you going to watch Blade Runner with your son, get him a copy of. Oh, do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? I told him about that. I want to get him some Philip K. Dick fiction, because that stuff is great, man. That stuff is great. Yes, and watch Ghost in the Shell as well. I have the Blu-ray of Ghost in the Shell either over there in this drawer. I got the Steelbook of it on Blu-ray when they released. I think Mondo did a release through Best Buy not long ago. Great flick. Great flick. Yeah, Ghost in the Shell is... I'll be honest with you. I'm a big fan of Shiro's work from Appleseed and then his pinup stuff. Like, Shiro he's just a brilliant, brilliant artist. I love his tech and everything he does. But Ghost in the Shell actually took me a few watches before I really fell in love with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll be the first to say, and what is up, 40% Zed? It is great to see you. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. There you go. Look at this. You guys are Blade Runnering it up. But it took me a minute to get into it. I was much quicker with when I first saw Akira. It may have been the motorcycle opening sequence, and that music was fantastic. But things like things like Ninja Scroll. I was super into an anime called Bubblegum Crisis back in the day when I was in college. I had the original 80s version of that on VHS, and we'd watch that in my dorm room because I loved, even though I don't draw a lot of it, I loved the tech and how in 2D animation they made everything just click together. Like they would put on their gloves and you got the sense, even though it made no sense how they were in there, it would lock together. And I think that was probably some of my favorite battle armor after, the Cyclones from Macross and Stick. Stick in his motorcycle armor, is one of my favorite designs of all time. But yeah, I was super into a lot of that stuff. But Ghost in the Shell, once I fell in love with it and got into it, the action drew me in first, and then it sort of expanded from there. Let's see, Jonathan Jetty art. Let me see here. We are all collectors. It's very easy to show off our stuff. Yes, indeed it is. You're right. Totally true. What's up, Phil, my brother? How are you doing, man? Is there a new trailer? Tammy, it's great to have you back. Is there a new trailer, Phil, that I should be playing for you? Because I'm playing Lost Pages 3, but I don't know if you've got something in the pipeline. Let me know. Ghost in the Shell is a philosophical tale. You're absolutely right. Channel member Mighty Geek Studios and channel member Tammy D. Let's see here. Yeah, man. And yeah, hail to you, 40% Zed. But I love that stuff, man. I just love the look of it, Yeah, Bubblegum Crisis is great. Rock Babes in Power Armor fight Terminators. Yeah, the Boomers, as they were called, which kind of makes me laugh now. But though they were so great. Oh, you know what I also loved? I loved, oh man, what's the name of the guy? Driving Bean. Do you guys remember that anime that was based off of Bean from Gunsmith Cats? Man, the artist who drew Gunsmith Cats knew how to illustrate action. It was crazy. Lost Pages 3 is it. Just got a batch of new layouts. Excellent. Just making sure. I don't want to... Because, my brain's been spinning. John, it's great to see you, brother. How you doing? In and out. I'll be back in a little while and catching up. Sounds good, my friend. Sounds good. What's up? Cranberry Langers. Yeah, Bubblegum Crisis looked great. Yeah, it's very 80s in a lot of ways, but the action in it, I wouldn't say it's as good as something like a feature like Ghost in the Shell, but I just thought the action in it was fantastic. And I loved the way that, these humanoid-looking people would go into the police station or whatever the heck it was, and then they turn into these giant robot Terminators, almost like they were turning into the werewolves in Vampire Hunter D, another anime that was big for us back in the day. Always loved Amano's work too. Amano is a manga genius, an anime designing genius. Does great stuff. Very influenced by Arthur Rackham, which is, I love Arthur Rackham's stuff. So it's cool to see somebody blending, the two different traditions, the East and the West, and frankly, I think that's what's so funny about the way that there's been in the art world that we're pushing back on right now, this ridiculous emphasis on Marxist expressions like cultural appropriation, all that stuff, and I'm like, no one else in the world is thinking about this stuff. One, it's ridiculous, and also culture is dynamic. Culture is always moving, and the people who don't acknowledge what's going on other places in the world and try to learn from it, and sometimes interpreting a culture from an outsider's perspective makes something new. I mean, it was Osamu Tezuka looking at Disney cartoons that created modern manga. It's wild, man. Oh, sweet. Just watched Little Nemo in Slumberland. I have not seen that yet, but I hear it's great. I want to check it out. Yeah. Let's see here. Everybody's saying hello, hello. Hey, Hostman. Erased is sad and good. I like it's wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon. There you go. Is it wrong? Holy cow, I'm like catching up with all this stuff here. Yes, back to my maiden name. There you go. Congratulations, Tammy D. Let me see here. 80s Maid and Cranberry. Yeah, Z Comics. I haven't seen it since childhood, but I remember liking it. There you go. Yeah, there is just so much cool stuff that's being done. And that can be done if we just sort of, break down the barriers between generations of artists and what they were doing. There's a lot of Richard Corbin. There's a lot of Frank Frazetta in this. But there's also a lot of Alphonse Mucha in this. And there's also, one of my favorite sequential art books I've read in a while was I was reading Berserk for a bit. I've had to focus on all of this, but I love Richard Corbin's Den series, which is being re-released. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is all over this. I've learned from so many different artists, and I just say don't limit your diet when it comes to that stuff. Don't let anybody tell you that you have to, by the way, too, which is why I'm here, which is why we're closing the book on July 13th. It is the anniversary of me walking away from the people who want to separate us and the philosophy of separation. Don't believe in it. Never going to be all right with that. Never going to capitulate. It's not what I do. Still haven't been able to start Ayn Rand. It is tough. It is tough. I would always say if you're going to start with like a novella or a short story like Anthem, because that stuff is intense. But if you need a recommendation, do I have it here? Hang on. This was not planned. This is just how my life is. I'm surrounded by piles of stuff, and I don't have an excuse. I haven't just moved recently, Tammy. But this is the CDs, because I like to have hard copies of things, of Atlas Shrugged, unabridged, read by Scott Brick. And it is my favorite reading of it. It is a fantastic reading. And as you guys know, I was born on Atlas Shrugged today, so September 2nd. And that's why it cracked me up when I read that book for the first time. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy, September 2nd. So I looked it up, and people were like, yeah, that's Atlas Shrugged Day. And yeah, it's great. It hit me at a perfect time. That book really helped me to see what was going on, and really has informed how I think and work as an independent, creator. That is without a doubt. Watching all the Fandom Menace streams back in the day, watching, what happened with culture, that we're now seeing the, Disney and other companies feeling the repercussions of all of that, finally. It's like you can't get away. What is, speaking of Ayn Rand, what is that quote? You can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. And I think that's definitely one of the things that we're seeing happen right now. You cannot do that, folks. But and you're seeing it with our audience growing. I mean, there are so many skilled people in Comicsgate right now. There's so many skilled people working in our little space, and people come in and see this, and they're like, wow, because they look at the mainstream, and they say, where's all of the talent gone? You know, there was a time when we could do all of this great stuff, and where did it go? You know, where did the quality go, the talent go? And you know, we know where Graham Nolan is. We know where Dan Lawless is. We know where Ethan Van Sciver is, and Dale Keown, and all of these amazing creators. You know, we know where all these folks are. Mike Barron. You know, it's great. Kenneth Rocafort. I mean, I could go on and on. Reenie. But it's like all the people who were in the industry who came over into our space, like they know where they are, but then they come in here and they start seeing people whose work they may be familiar with, you know, in terms of me as a fantasy artist and a concept artist, that kind of thing. But they see me over here doing, you know, what I'm doing right now on this piece, and they're just like, oh, cool, like, this is where all the stuff is. These traditions of quality are being kept alive somewhere, and it's here. It's with you guys. You guys are keeping it alive. You guys are making Nosfero the success it is, man. Yeah, they're here. Amen. Amen. Couldn't say it any better than that. Simply Green channel member, and it's great to see you here, my friend. Let me see here. That's accurate. There's an entire media focusing on getting you to ignore reality. Yeah, it's absolutely true. Let's see. Morning, John, says Simply Green. Let's see here. Shantan Jetty Art. I've been reading William F. Buckley, Jr.'s God and Man at Yale. Wow. And that's pretty amazing. And J.R.R. Tolkien's translation of Beowulf. I love that he did a translation of Beowulf. I'm so glad it finally got released. Those books inform my philosophy quite a bit. Yep, for me it's the Stoic philosophers, it's Ayn Rand, but then, you know, there are contemporaries, and there are some folks that are younger than me that are really bringing a lot to the game for me in terms of how I think. I would give a shout out to Eric July, man. I'd give a shout out to young Ripa. The stuff that he is doing with the Ripaverse and his attitude about how he goes about it has been really, it's something that only a fool can't respect it. And I have a lot of respect for that, you know. So yeah, he's definitely, you know, you can learn so much from people who are on top of their game, and they can be from anywhere, any age. You know, it's not just people your own age. It's not just people older than you, younger than you. It's the cool thing about being where we are in a place without boundaries. You know, I would say the only thing that we, you know, try to use as a boundary is reason and a little bit of sanity. You know, that's kind of how it seems to work. All right, Tammy, we'll see you in a sec. Let me see here. What is reality at best? At best, I can make an educated guess. Yep, that's right. Reality for me, and ahoy, John. There you go. And did I miss somebody else? I feel like I saw somebody else come in. The real fans are following the advice of Todd McFarlane and doing their own thing. Yep, that's totally right. I love Todd. Todd's my man. Let me see here. Young Ripa, living legend. Amen. You're absolutely right, Hostman Socrates. Hello again, says Mighty Geek Studios. Right on, right on. Let me make sure I caught everybody there. Cool. But yeah, I mean, it's Ethan, and I've talked about this, I know, before, but so I got into Comicsgate via Ethan and the Fandom Menace, and watching him, and then later hearing John Malin talking about, you know, his experiences. I clipped that interview, and shout out to Pete Cimetti for you know, being cool with that, of Pete interviewing John, and it was a really great interview. I learned a lot about John that I hadn't previously really known. I mean, I'd heard snippets of it, but it was a great distillation of what his experiences were in comics. And I love that, you know, I love learning about people who've also taken stands on principle, because sometimes it can feel very, as it should, it can feel somewhat lonely when you make a stand on principle. I mean, there's not like there's a crowd applauding you. Usually that's a good sign that you haven't made a stand on principle, if in the moment you've got a massive crowd of people applauding you. That's the definition of virtue signaling. But most of the things that people do that are right and good and just happen when people aren't looking. And some of the best teaching we ever do, I think, is just leading by example. And I'm saying this as someone who, you know, taught for 18 years and probably still is deep in my soul, you know, somewhere a teacher. I was listening to Joe Rogan talking to Ice Cube for the last 2 days, that podcast, and getting a lot of great stuff from Ice Cube and his writing, you know, history and the things he's done. There's wisdom all around us. Let's see here. Tolkien did a translation of The Owl and the Nightingale that I don't think he ever finished. Yep. Yes, indeed. Yeah, hail good sirs. Right on. Caught up, says John. Right on, right on. So yeah, I mean, that's the stuff that I'm drawn to. That's the stuff that the stuff that inspires me. I'm looking for people who are inspired. And I try to be somebody who shares how excited they are and positive and inspired they are about this work with as many people as possible, because it's fuel in your tank. It is a ludicrous thing to step into this space and try to fund and make a business out of your comics and your imagination. No matter how skilled you are, it is more work than most people can probably fathom. And I think a lot of people who have careers in the industry where people have done everything for them find that there are completely different struggles in this space. And it's no matter where you're coming from. And that's why I think you see a lot of big creators not really want to go out there and do it, because it's got to be tough. I mean, you're working on, a book like Batman or something like that, and then you go to crowdfund your book, and all of a sudden you realize that you've got a bunch of DC Comics audience fans and not a lot of fans of your own stuff. And I think when, it can't be overstated that had been the, what's the word I'm looking for? That had been the rule and not the exception when Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, and those guys left to form Image. There was every expectation nobody was going to buy their stuff if it wasn't an X book or a Spider-Man book. And they pulled it off. Simply Green says, one of the things that kept me here was you guys, the pros. You come and hang with us. When Gamergate went down, I think it would have been a lot more successful if we'd had the pros with you. Yeah, agreed. Yes, you cannot suppress your teacher's heart, Shanth. I know. Let's see here. I heard from someone I work with just 2 or 3 days ago that she was going to write that diversity is important and that it adds to society, blah, 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 but that she actually disagrees with it. Yeah, it's weird. Ice Cube is more informed and intelligent than I expected. You know what's weird is that you never know what someone's going to talk about when you get them in a genuine conversation. So I didn't know that he spent a year when he was, I think, 17 or 18 at a drafting school learning architectural drafting and drawing. It's incredible what you learn about these folks. I mean, everybody's got an interesting corkscrew that takes them down the path of their life. Expounding upon or deconstructing Batman is easy. Making the next Batman is a hill to climb all on its own. Amen. And speaking of artists and creators, we've got channel member Skunk Artworks in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you, sir. It is great to see you. Right, happy to learn that. Big brain. Yeah, absolutely, man. It's great. I love that kind of stuff. That's the stuff that makes me happy. What is up, Sulcurialt? It's great to see you, my friend. How are you doing? I hope you are well. It's great to have you here, man. And that's the thing, right? I want to, when I'm looking at this this other story idea that I'm been working on since, or had in the back of my head since 2017. Whatever I do with it and however that comes together, it's a part of the Shanth and Jetty art that is Nosfero. That is the one that Nosfero informed, because everything I do story-wise and horror-wise was kind of if backing Nosfero is not just backing a comic book, one of my my first effort at a painted comic book, because I have self-published comics before and written and illustrated them. It's sort of a work that has redefined what I do as a comic book artist, and it really is my Fantastic Four do one your way kind of book, and it's a turning point. So it's a first in so many ways. Beyond just being, my first fully painted comic book and all of that kind of stuff, because I did some comic book pages. I know I showed this on the last stream, but for those of you guys who weren't here, because it was just a weird series of events that led to me streaming. But for those of you guys who haven't seen Art Book 2 or what my stuff looks like when I showed it the other day, I'm sure some of you guys have. I don't know if I've done a lot of it on Ecamm, just so you guys can sort of see like how this stuff reproduces and things like that. But when I started doing these books, this was a big step. This is where I formed Shanth and Jetty Art, was with Art Books 1 and 2. But Shanth and Jetty Art slash, comics is, and this is speaking more towards the Egypt story idea. If I go to Egypt with Nosfero, these are the characters that are going to be the characters that Nosfero encounters. So it's going to be a very interesting story. And actually, you're seeing a glimpse of something here that is in the in Nosfero. I can't show it because it's in one of the last pages, and I'm trying to keep some of it secretive. And here they are again, by the way. So here are these are the two characters that will be. And if I do the Egypt Nosfero story, this is a really good look at some of the fun artwork I created surrounding that. But when I was doing this book, I was experimenting with doing comic stuff. And I was like saying, what would it be like if I play around with doing something that's somewhat sequential in nature when I do this stuff? And that's what, these stories were. And that was when I painted the werewolf story. That's when I started playing around with, the figure and seeing what I could come up with. And I actually love this little page right here because that's a painting of my my kids. So when I showed these characters children, they were my children. I took a photo of them as babies and painted it. But yeah. And because, to me, it is, we have not had pregnancy done in the amazing way that it should be done in our fiction in a long time. Do you know what I mean? Motherhood, celebrating femininity and motherhood. That is what Nosfero is. A big part of the women of Nosfero is celebrating femininity and motherhood. And not even just even romance, love. Do you know what I mean? I've been starved for it, man. I've been starved for that stuff in books. I think people want to keep those character stories going, and I think guys who make the new Batman, Superman, etc. are trying to build up income to take a leap on their own. Yeah, you're probably right. Let's see here. Bancroft mentioned your work last night on his showcase, Skunk Artworks. There you go, Skunk Artworks, getting a shout out. Simply Green, yep, byproduct of greatness. Yeah, that's what we do. Egypt, you say, will there be a Lucent Nosfero crossover? Yeah, they'll be in the desert, so it might happen. Pregnant, I'd like those stories. Yep, like whatever that book is. Yeah, we got to do it, man. That's some fine looking art, Sean. Thank you, Hostman Socrates. I will tell you this, Nosfero is my best stuff. So I really hope when you guys, and certainly it's more paintings that are in that book, but if you like those books, I think you're gonna really love Nosfero's artwork. And it is great to see you, Odin, my artist brother. How are you doing? How are you doing, my friend? Hello to the chat. Hello to Odin. Much love, man. Much love in the chat, brother. That's right. Look at all this. It's great. Celebrating normalcy. How dare you? Well, here's the crazy thing about it, right? I'll quote Doc Holliday. There's no normal life. Wyatt, there's just life. But you know what's sort of funny about it is that people are, how do I word it? The kind of social norms and our cultural heritage that comes through our canonical works has been has been painted first into a cartoon, sort of a hokey, kind of Hallmark card, which is why evil seems so much more powerful as a subject than good, because good has basically been made weak. I like the line from Spaceballs, now you see that evil will always prevail because good is dumb. I think that's essentially what what our culture has been saying for a while. And culture has been, like, all of us at some point, were traveling inside of the womb of a woman before we got here. All of us were not paying rent, and it's kind of it's a heroic miracle that brings all of us into this world, and I think it's something that should be celebrated. And I think that love is an incredible miracle. Family is an incredible miracle. Friends. I mean, I've got an adoptive father in this book for Nosfero that happens to be a werewolf. I love it. And it's not that the monsters aren't really monsters. I never make that point because, in my view, a wolf or a dog or whatever you're looking at, an animal based on what it looks like, doesn't tell you that much. You don't know how mean pandas can be, right? So the characters, to me, a good character is a good character. I don't do the gray stuff as much. There are ways to show things without showing things. I miss the sort of magic relationships. Now it's all nuts and bolts, and showing the mechanics ruins the mystery. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yeah, man. I know what you mean. I've been reading Elric. Yes, that's right. And The Witcher. Don't tell Razorfist. I won't. Don't worry. And the way they handle romance is startlingly different from how it's handled today. It absolutely is, because, you know, and Hail Micra, always great to see you. Yeah, gray names, rise up. Amen. Skunk Artworks, it's the beast of an artist. That's right. Laugh Out Loud, love Tombstone. I do too. Watched it with my son for the first time. It was great. You go on with it. That's right. Look at all the enthusiasm in the chat, man. How can anybody be bummed out in the space, man? It's great. For sure, doing well. All right, Jonathan Jetty Art, yeah, absolutely. I kind of see it. I like the tendency to over. I kind of see it like the tendency to over-explain. I can't read for beans right now. Things you don't need to over-explain romance. You're absolutely right. It's in the look. It's in the little things. You know what I mean? I've been listening to Ice Cube since 1990. That's right. Old school is the only school. He's a good man. Yeah, he's a good man and a wise man. You know, he's got a lot of wisdom in him. And lots of great things to say. Is Nosfero a good character? Absolutely he is. 100%. He's a good guy. A panda king. Yeah, pandas don't play around. Don't, you know, I saw a panda grab a guy at the zoo and pull him towards the cage because the guy was trying to take a picture with the panda. It's like, guys, they're bears still. Ish. Yeah, they're kind of their own thing. Yeah, Ice Cube go on Carrie Smith's deprogram. Yeah, that would be an interesting one. Yeah, life is a fight. You're born into a war field. Yeah, it is. It is. Well, and I always liked that Joseph Campbell always talked about that old Irish expression that he loved, which is this a private fight or can anybody get into it? And that's the thing that's interesting. When it comes to the fight of life and the fight of your life, it's only yours to fight. You can throw yourself in with other people and you will have common, people who you have common interests. But at the end of the day, what I like about Comicsgate and what I like about Iron Age and this space that we're in is that when it comes to your book, your channel, all of this stuff, you'll form relationships with people and your channel will benefit, and you will occasionally experience either the grace or the fortune or whatever you want to call it of somebody promoting and helping your book get somewhere. But what I would often say is that here it's very true to life, which is you have got to build this thing yourself. You can the kindness of strangers is wonderful, but none of us are entitled to that, and that's why I have gratitude for everything that you guys do when you're channel members, when you send super chats, when you back the book, when you just come in and hang out on stream, guys. That's just how I see it, man. It's a good thing. I've been fortunate to see people who work hard, who are enthusiastic and positive, and just want to support beauty being brought into this world. And that's what we're trying to do here. Always trying to do this. And it's great. Incredibly fortunate, guys. I'm incredibly fortunate to have this, and I feel really grateful about it. And I think that's ultimately, to me, when I write, I want to express something of that philosophy to people. I want them, if they tune into my channel, I want it to be like, hey, that's a cool experience. I had a great time. But I want it to be the same, obviously, for my book. I want people to look at Nosfero more than once, because it is, in many senses, it's a collection of paintings, as much as it is a story. And it's wild. It's going to be a very interesting book. I can tell you that, just in terms of how it was made and in terms of what went into it. It's crazy. What is up, Tariki? It's great to see you, my friend. How are you doing? Greetings and salutations. Pandas are giant killer raccoons. I agree. Kept docile, but by a bamboo diet. You're absolutely right, man. Yeah, it's great to see you. That's true. When women went for protection, it brings out the best aspects of men and women. Sacrifice shows a woman and child are worth it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's like, I love how Comicsgate freely promotes mediocrity, by the way. Or meritocracy. I love these things. I said, at first I read it with my dyslexia. I thought that was hilarious. I thought you were making a joke. But yeah, it's true. I love how Comicsgate freely promotes meritocracy for the win. Yeah, well, I mean, I actually said this to a friend of mine the other day. Oh my gosh, your streams are as cathartic as Bob Ross. We all appreciate your positivity. I'm so glad, Odin. Yeah, it would be really funny if it was mediocrity, not meritocracy, though. You're right. Yeah, my dyslexia is so bad, guys. When I read, I don't even always know what I'm reading. I can't process it. But no, I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about. I said to a friend of mine who is a teacher, and and we talk on the phone all the time. He's my best friend after my wife Lauren. He's family. Every book has got he's the first person, a special thanks. And I said, I said to him, in my mind, my hashtag, if my mind had hashtags, is imagine merit. Imagine a world where everywhere you go and every person you meet doing their job is there because of merit. What a world it would be. How amazing it is when people who do their job, it's based on their merit, based on their ability. Every pilot is a great pilot. Every doctor and nurse, they know what they're doing. They work hard. Looking at you, Tammy D. And you see people who are deserve to be where they are. They deserve their success because they've earned it. And it's all merit based. And to me, when I think about the things I'm most excited about, imagining merit, and that's what Atlas Shrugged did for me, is so important. You know, now my charms are all are earth thrown, and what strength I have is my own, which is most faint. Now 'tis true, I must be here, confined by you or sent to Naples. There you go. Yeah, it's so important, man. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, absolutely right, John. Well said. I'm not going to butcher that by reading it. I have the same thing, Shanth. Reading is annoying. I need to do it more. I know, I need to practice more. This helps me, though. Imagine no John Lennon. It's easy if you try. I've done that. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a bit... it's like that. I can't even begin to see a world I'd like to live in because we're so far from that. Merit in the media instead of glow ops. Yeah, well, and that's the crazy thing, right? Merit is... merit's the kind of thing to where it only takes a little bit of it and getting a little taste of it before people cannot go back. You know, we can't go back, and I think that I was looking at the scale of Joe Rogan's podcast, or look at different people who are out there kind of creating their own spaces and doing what they got to do. And I think that you're seeing more of that when you see weekend box offices, when you see all of the massive layoffs in the news media right now. That stuff is coming from the end of mediocrity subsidy. And I'm not saying it's never going to completely go away, but we've been subsidizing mediocrity and incompetence for far too long. And we've done it. For under the guise of something very noble. That's how you get people to go along with something. You find empathetic people who you can appeal to their emotion, right? You can appeal to their emotion, and they can sort of say, yes, I do want things to be better for everybody. That's a very honest thing to do. However, starting with the approach of making things better for everybody doesn't ultimately lead to the end of making everything better for everybody, because it's something that you're doing, that you're giving to people. And so you start off by denying them their dignity, that they can't accomplish anything without you bestowing it on them. There's so many instances of that, and I've watched it as a teacher. I'm speaking specifically of that right now. It's crazy. Hey, Scottsley, long time no see, brother. How you doing? It's great to see you. Happy Sunday. Yeah, we've been paying for our own indoctrination. You're absolutely right. Yeah, people have been wanting to escape the pain of life for decades. You're right. And there's no doing it. You've got to face it forthrightly. And I think it's such an insulting thing to say to somebody that I don't think you can handle adversity. You know, I really think that adversity is, where the human spirit is forged. And as Denzel says, and I played that at the start of my streams before I started to fear never-ending copyright claims, that ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. And wherever you see, these big corporations and all of this stuff, big corporations did not make great art. Great art made these industries, made these corporations. Do you know what I mean? That's what made it. It's not the other way around. Yeah, it's I don't know how to describe it, but where did we get to the point where people forgot it is absolutely the cart in front of the horse. That's what it is. It's like, well, first you get a big corporation, and then you can be creative. Oh, here's another one. First, speaking of, Ice Cube and what his story was. First you get security, and then you can be brave. Not possible. Not possible. You can't make people safe. You can't make people perfectly secure. What you can do is make them strong and give them some integrity and some strength inside of them, and then they're going to be able to do great things. They're going to be able to do more than they would have done if you did the opposite. And I think that's what people, if you want to know what I personally think, and I don't speak for anybody but myself here, but if you want to know what I think the engine of Comicsgate, the true engine of Comicsgate, and the true engine of any independent space, is the admiration of the risk, the admiration of the courage, and being in a situation where you don't have a parachute, where you don't have the stability of a full-time, college teaching position or anything like that, and you're still being creative and you're still being positive. Because everybody can be positive, enthusiastic, and creative who, are, how do I put it, or quote creative and quote positive and quote enthusiastic when everything is going their way. But can you be the one that makes people laugh when, things go pear-shaped and help everybody get on with it? I do a lot of, when I talk to family and friends, a lot of times I talk to people and they call me up when they're having a bad day. And if you're a really close friend of mine, then I try to make it worse on you, but that's all love. But they call me up and I'm the one who likes to say, nah, man, let's do this. Let's do this. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Past Master Dan? My man, it's great to see you, brother. How are you doing? Let's see here. Escapism has to be a time to, recreate yourself. If the escapism is your destination, then the art has failed. Absolutely. You should be inspired. Who watches The Watchmen, right? Who are the puppet masters? What's fascinating to me about this is, let me see. Haven't been in many of the CG chats lately. Been playing the new Street Fighter. Cool. And started a hardcore band. Congratulations, Scottsley. That's great news. I love when you guys come in and share news. That's important. They have shaped our communities in their desired image. It's hard to describe to people what was lost that was never experienced. And I think one of the craziest thing is, I used to ask my students, to their frustration and my wife's eternal annoyance, what's Article 1 of the Constitution of the United States? Tell me what you know about America. Because the only thing people know about America and most of their countries is politics, but they don't know the civics. And so when people say things, you really have to have facts to come back at with them. They might not listen to the facts, but when you don't have, it doesn't matter how open your opponent is for a counter if you don't know what punch to throw. And that's what I've sort of seen. I think that the quantity of your opponents and the seriousness of the situation you find yourself in, and I've found myself in quite a few serious situations in my time, I'm sure most of you guys have, those are the things that ultimately I think are going to strengthen you, and those are the things that will determine the strength of what you do. And you see a lot of people fold as a result of that, man. You see a lot of people fold, but that we're not here to fold. That's not the God we pray to, and that is not the goal of what I think. Like I always say, lectures don't work nearly as well as leading by example. So I'm certainly not leading with the goal of presenting perfection, because that's not how it goes in life, and I don't believe in that as a goal to chase. But when it comes to, on the whole, in terms of being positive and enthusiastic about the stuff I do, I always say that it doesn't matter what everybody's saying on the news. I can be that person that somebody talks to that day or experiences, or somebody else can do it that day too if I'm not on call, and that sort of contextualizes things in a much more positive fashion. I've always tried to contextualize. Oh my goodness, stone surgery tomorrow, Past Master Dan. Godspeed on your recovery too with that. Have a great surgery. And remember, you're going to win. The stones are going to lose. That's how that goes. So triumph over those stones, my friend. God bless you. You know. It also may mean confronting some very uncomfortable truths about life, good guys and bad guys of history. Well, sure. And what's amazing is right on, John, straight up, yeah. The biggest thing I would say about all of this stuff is that that's why the free speech part of this whole thing is so important. Because you can't even begin to question such a thing. You can't even risk being wrong when you self-censor too much. Like, everybody self-censors a little bit. I mean, like, I've came from, the world of academia where there were some people who really could have stood to self-censor. Let's be real clear here. Just for the basics of, not constantly being exhausting, But, so yeah, I think there's something to be said for it. But there's a difference between that and, cultivating a world where people are afraid of ideas and things that make them uncomfortable. And it's not about, by the way, going to someone saying, here, I'm going to force you to have to listen to this uncomfortable thing. There's got to be the work of putting it out there. And there will be pushback. It will be difficult. My proudest moment as a teacher happened my last year teaching. And it was great. Everything sort of felt like it was meant to happen that way. But we had a new hire who was basically a cartoon of diversity hiring. And I have no problem saying that. That is 100% what this person was. And they were such an obnoxious and tedious human being. I can't even describe it. And one faculty meeting, they had just been hired by this college. As far as I could tell, their students seemed to learn absolutely nothing. And we were doing one of our many Zoom meetings during the whole thing. And they said, at the risk of being disruptive, and then everyone's like, oh, be disruptive. Oh my gosh, be disruptive. Oh. I mean, I feel like I need Cecil here to do the voice. Disrupt me, Amadeus. And, like seals, man. They just clap like seals. And he goes, but I would like everybody to look at this screen in Zoom and ask the question. And they're a new hire. They don't know anybody here, right? Barely. They're like, what's wrong with this picture? The implication being that there weren't enough people that looked like this person in the picture. One of those narcissistic things you could do. And in that meeting, right after that, I said, and if I could just say something in the interest of being disruptive, since we're all about real disruption here, apparently, I said, I want everybody here to look at the screen and all these faces on the screen and ask themselves a harder question. What's right with this picture? And you could hear a pin drop, and the people who worked the hardest at the school, the people I know, you could see the big smiles across the faces of them. And that's when you have to do it, man. Yeah. We needed a Cecil in that meeting, but is there a meeting that wouldn't be made better by Cecil? And yes, absolutely, past Master Dan. Much love. Yeah, identity isn't a group. Yeah, disrupt on me harder, Daddy. That's what it is. Yeah, that's a great snob impression. Makes me want to say something snarky. You're right. Yeah, this person, can you imagine walking into a room, meeting a group of people? You have to spend a lot of time in a place before you could say you understand what people are about, what their story is. And it was just, this person could not be, like, he fell out of the talent tree and missed every branch on the way down. That's what I'd say about this person. Just an unskilled identity politics, woke cartoon character who really in his work was so completely narcissistic to the point of degeneracy. I couldn't even, I was just shocked at how he could even think. What's wrong in that picture was that he was on the faculty, as far as I'm concerned. That's what was wrong with that picture. Punk. What a punk. Yeah, nice analogy. Yeah, there you go. It's absolutely right. Clipped. Yep, gotta clip it. Yeah, thanks for the book and looking forward to it getting into my hands. Yeah, absolutely, man. Odin, there's lots of love here for you. Okay, I'm back. I need this right now. There you go, Tammy D. It's good to have you back, Tammy D. And that was the thing, right? I was always that person in those situations. I think my wife even heard me say it because she might have been home that day. But I've always been the person who, I don't think it's cool to say let's talk about all this stuff. It's easy to talk about what's wrong with everything, but pointing out what's wrong with things or how things could be improved isn't a strategy. Well, I should say talking about what should be improved is not a strategy like how things could be improved, trying it and failing. Like, I trust experience, which is to say, you get experience when you didn't get what you were trying for. So I'm not looking for people who have a thought on how it can be done. I'm looking for people who have examples of it being done that way that were successful, or they're willing to take the hit when it fails. And the problem that I started to see, and I think a lot of us have seen, is there's no consequences for failure. Failure is pushed off onto somebody else. People don't take accountability for their work and their responsibilities. And it's tough because it's no fun. It's no fun to fail, but it's you can sleep at night and you'll be happier as an adult. I mean, the road to misery is paved by so many people who have spent their lives trying to avoid failure. But what is there? If you don't have failure, you're living in a life without actually gaining experience. It makes no sense. Yeah, it's craziness, man. It's crazy. We got Antoine in the house. Cheers, Antoine. It's great to see you, channel member. God bless you. Love seeing you in the chat. Antoine, who won on Michael Bancroft's show, which is pretty cool, man. I'm excited. I think you got the trading card, right? The misprint trading card, limited. That's awesome. What we have right now are a bunch of lopsided rules that only apply to certain groups. Yes, and what we have to remind ourselves of, I'm not trying to be too positive today, but if I am, too bad. There's enough of the other stuff. Is what's happening to the folks who are benefiting on this lopsided system, is they're being crippled by it. And we're not, because again, ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. So we're actually being strengthened, and that's why we're in this sort of Iron Age, as Razorfist likes to call it, creativity wise. That there's a reason why the best fighters in boxing don't come from areas of abundance. There's a reason for that, because you don't fight like that when you've got it too easy. And I remember someone complimenting Floyd Mayweather Jr. I think it was Zab Judah said, they said, "What's the secret to Floyd Mayweather's success?" And Zab, who had a very infamous fight with Floyd, said his secret is he trains like he's broke. And I've always worked like I'm broke. Always. It's and sometimes it's been the case, but I've always even when I was full-time college professor, I worked like I was trying to get hired for the job I had. That's just always been my attitude. Always try to do things, even when I'm doing free work or stuff like that, which I don't really typically do, but in some people's cases what I do, that kind of stuff is my own business, but when I do things for people, there's just one bar. It's excellence. It's not just to get it done, and I can't be about that, man. Let's see. Yeah, Shanth, you disrupted their oppression narrative. I did. Listen, guys. I was cold-blooded and calculated when I did that. It was glorious, borderline erotic. I love that stuff. You've got to stop them in their tracks. I was not going to let some jackass who just rolled up in this place decide to speak for people of color, quote unquote, which would presumably be talking about me, because I'm not a circus clown. You're a rodeo clown. I'm not. So let me show you what an actual skilled artist and an actual successful teacher, what my perspective is. But don't try to represent me just because you're a couple shades closer. That ain't it. That's not how I roll. I identify as a competent person, and I want to be around competent people who work hard. I'm a creative person. I'm an enthusiastic person. I love my country, love my wife, love God, love my kids, all of that stuff. I believe in positivity, and I'm all in on this humanity thing. Come what may, good or bad, you have to decide whether you're all in or you're all out. And don't be half in on it. You got to make sure you're doing it. And when it comes to things I choose to do, that's what it is. I try to always be 100% focused, and sometimes it can be interesting, right? Because we live in a world where people do things with some kind of covert contract in their head, like if I do this for you, you owe me this, and that stuff is just poison. And it's probably proper and right for people to I think of people like Razorfist and certainly Ethan and, you know, John and folks like that to feel rightly suspicious when somebody, you know, comes up to them looking for assistance because they've seen or does anything nice. It's like, well, what is this? What are you hoping to get in return? That's why I always think you got to plant your feet and build everything on what you're doing because it makes people more comfortable when you do, you know? I don't know what the prize was. Yeah, it was a Pain of Death trading card that had the Lucent Waking Dream on it instead of Pain of Death, so it was a misprint card, and they're beautiful. Those Chrome cards are great. Yeah, small groups, absolutely, and just having relationships, man, with people. Like, don't have dynamics with people. Have relationships with people. Don't have identities that you have in common with people. Have interests, for God's sake. You know, working hard, laughing, having a good time. Life's too short, guys. You know, we all know that. Yeah, it's a perspective I've learned from some very wise people, and that it speaks to me, man. Godless is a miserable place, aka hell, and not just for the godless. Godless inspires, grows a narcissist. Yeah, there's a lot of narcissism out there, you know, and the worst thing about being completely self-centered, weirdly enough, is the feeling of being completely out of control at the same time. And that's why I look at those folks and I'm like going, oh, it's not good, man, you know. I'm not saving a pony. Yeah, right on. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hey, now that's offensive to the rodeo clowns. That's right. They put in, Lord knows they do. You think I'd last a day in that job? No way, man. Yeah, Marxism is a blight upon humanity, but it took people a while, you know. Hey, good point. Show some respect to those rodeo clowns. You're absolutely right, Scottsley. No, I mean, it is, and this is the crazy thing about it. I said this to a friend. I'm painting for Michael Bancroft's book. If you have not backed it yet, Tamier, you would love this story. If you love art, and if you haven't art, I mean, you may have already backed the first book, but the link is in the description. He is one of the most poetic artists. His use of color is beautiful. It's a story that centers around a character named Ella, who has got this incredible ability that goes all the way back to the stories of Gilgamesh, and it also talks about Gilgamesh in the story as well. It links a lot of these things together to this kind of grand narrative. It's beautiful. You'd love it. And Michael's a brother. He actually, on his channel, he launched Nosfero. So grateful to him for that. And so it's the trailer I play at the start of all of my shows is this book. And so it's great that he's commissioned me to do a painting for it. It's a joy, man. I'm really happy with the people I'm working with now, man. My cup runneth over. Let's see here. Yeah. Of course, quid pro quo. You're expected to take certain duties on board. Yes, of course, quid pro quo. You're expected to take certain duties on board. Yeah, we know it, man. Yeah, sincerity is a real deal, man. I mean, you see some amazing people out there. I don't think she'd mind me telling this story because she's a cool cat. But my wife's biggest mentor, amazing woman, is in a somewhat terminal health situation, just to put it that way, you know. And we were out walking, and her and her husband drove by us, and she waved at us from the car. This woman has a smile that could light the sun. And when we saw her, we immediately felt this brightness and this love. You can't fake that kind of thing. That's the fortune of this world, man. That's what makes it great. And I just, you know, those are the people I want to be spending my time with. Those are the people I want in my life. Yeah. The key to everything seems to be strive. Then your eulogy is read as strove. Then you die happy with a legacy. That's right. Yeah. Dancing pony. Got to be done. Tammy D, this is the commission piece for the Lucent. Michael Bancroft. Gosh, I am so far behind. You know, rejecting victimhood. Your supremacy is showing. Absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy, man. It poisons people. You know, it's like it's inspired by the color of the Lucent. That's right. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, Bosscroft, indeed. Yeah. Bancroft is truly a traditional storyteller. He reveres the Gilgamesh stories, and he's not afraid to show it. Yep, I love it. Oof, that effing sucks. Yes. It does suck, and she's a glorious person. Much love sent to this friend, says Hostman Socrates. Yeah, if you pray, her name is Chris. Do pray for her. She's a wonderful human being, and someone who has just given so much to my family. When I had to have emergency surgery, she came and watched our kids. She's just, she's a cherished friend and as good as family as far as I'm concerned. But you know, that's the thing. That's the thing about all this stuff, man, is that she loves art. She paints. She has supported and backed all of my art books. What's so great about it is that we get to have conversations, and we will have and have had conversations about painting, and I love that. I love that art has informed both of our lives, both mine and hers, and that's the world we live in, guys. And I feel, look at Nosfero, guys. That is, when it closes, it closes. This campaign is over on the 13th. The success of this campaign and the beauty of the book that it has helped to finance, that is a monument to these things that we talk about. Every one of these campaigns that's a success and produces something beautiful is how we fight back against the enemies of beauty, the enemies of individuality, by being genuinely enthusiastic to see individuals succeed. I've never met J.K. Rowling in my life, but I am happy for her success. I am so glad that her creativity has given her everything it's given her, and I hope she has as much as she can stand. The same thing goes for Eric July, the same thing goes for Razorfist, the same thing goes for Ethan, and certainly goes, for Michael Bancroft, Eric Weathers, Von Klaus, Rob Arnold, and Clint Stoker, and all of the folks who are on CG team with me when, we they invited me to come on that show. It's like I don't have the time to be, and Pete Cimetti, who had me on his show when we crossed 5,000, bucks on this campaign. We've got some really great people who are just trying to put beauty out into this world, and we can't lose sight of it. The things we do really matters. What is up, Siege Perilous? It's great to see you. Yeah. Fighting the death of quality. Yeah. And by the way, Teflon Ron, it's great to see you, Teflon Ron. How are you doing? Cheers. Gosh, I looked down for 1 second. Hail Sean, I just finished watching Sound of Freedom. Yes, indeed. Yes. And I won't read that because YouTube will strike me for it, but yes, I know. And I was just talking about that movie with someone yesterday. It's a subject that, needs attention, and it's a human life. Let's that be perfect timing, by the way. We were just talking about how one person's life can make a huge difference. The man that story is based on and his wife made an enormous difference in the lives of the people they rescued. So yeah, never forget that. Every single day, that hero. Just people always talk about you live long enough to become a villain. That's crazy. You live long enough to have many chances to be a hero. Many. Life is too short to pass up those chances. When you have the energy, the will, and the ability to do it, be that hero you can be. That's what we're here to say. That's what, Comicsgate and Independent Space is here to say. Be that hero, make that work. Make that work. It's so important, man. So important. It's crazy when I think about how much we've been able to accomplish in a short time, and we're just getting started. I know I am certainly just getting started, because my brain, since I started to since I set the date, July 13th for the close of this campaign, if you have not backed it yet, or if you want to back it again and you want to make sure that you have extra copies of the book, do it now. Don't wait till the last minute, because that has happened to me on a few campaigns and it sucks. But what we've been able to accomplish, my creativity and my inspiration for what I'm doing in this space has only grown. And it's funny too, because after this stream, let me talk about the importance of positivity, right? A family member of mine got a big promotion at his job. Big promotion at his job this week. He was really excited. This guy is in an incredible field, and he probably already easily makes what I would made my last year of teaching in a month. But this guy, that's the kind of stuff I don't think about, like, in terms of these things. He's my brother, he's family, and so we've scheduled a time, and I'm really looking forward to this, to celebrate his accomplishment with a video chat conversation. Because I want to hear about his job. I want to hear about his life. The relationship to me is gold. That other stuff, And I actually do have to ship a painting off to him soon, so I gotta make that box today because he did buy a painting of mine recently. But he's a patron of the arts, and he's a friend, and someone. He was a groomsman at my wedding, for God's sake, and one of my many groomsmen. And I said to him, I go, we need to talk to celebrate your accomplishment. We got to talk to celebrate your promotion. Charlie Stevenson, it's great to see you, my friend. I love seeing you in the chat, brother. It's so great. The positivity here has greatly helped me through some moderate to severe health issues. Simply Green, I am so glad to hear that. Yeah, this space is done the same for me, guys. It's done the same for me. Yeah, sometimes you are not the hero that everyone needs, but you are just the hero which is there. You will know what to do. Yes, exactly right. So true. Yeah, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, die having lived the life of a hero. Yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating thing, right? Because I think that I think those acts of heroism, Ice Cube talked about, that's a sentence I never thought I would say following that. But Ice Cube was talking about how he had an English teacher who praised him for his What I Did This Summer writing. They were amazed at how detailed it was, and so he got nominated to speak as a student. And he goes, and that fed right into my comfort and my passion for writing and writing a movie like Friday. There's an independent film and success story right there we can all be excited about. And it starts sometimes with, your elementary teacher telling you, I think he said when he was 7 or 8, saying, hey, that's pretty good. I remember when teachers would say that stuff is gold. When you've got adults around you, when an adult takes the time, to say, hey, that's great, what you're doing is really cool there, it is amazing the impact it can have. I'm sure we all have teachers, who've done that for us. And by the way, if you have a teacher who's inspired you and had that kind of an impact on you in a positive way, drop their name in the chat. Let's get their names in the chat. I think that's, so often some of those people who offer us those moments of kindness, I don't know if we can ever thank them enough, or sometimes they're gone from this world. But drop a name if there was somebody, a teacher or somebody who was important. Drop their name in the chat. Let's get that out there. Yep. Miss Grabowski. Let's see here. Moss Blackburn, great to see you. Great to see you. Oh shit. Sorry. All right, I got the compliment. I thought you were saying nice, like, oh, you. I didn't get that at first. My grandfather, says Hostman Socrates. Absolutely, man. Darn it, Shanth. Shaming me about the teachers I've forgotten. Sorry. Oh, my God. You guys are killing me. Miss Winters, says John. Yep. I liked Mr. Aesop. There you have it. Yeah, that's the stuff, guys. Mr. Mann, freshman English. Mr. Jeremy Storr, says Richie Dupe. Right on. Love it. Dr. Silverman. Excellent. Yeah, guys. Keep this stuff coming. That's what we do here. We have the choice every single day to talk about and to, celebrate those folks that were important to us, and that's important. Jonathan Winter's wife, says Cranberry Langers. There you go. Yeah. It's there are people who we have, as artists and creators and as just young developing folks, who do things for us. I had a teacher, I had a very troubled friend in high school who was Doug Ashby. There you go. I had a very troubled friend in high school who didn't want to stick around in this place, is the best way I could think to put it. Shad Brooks. And after a particular tough time, he had to leave the school because it wasn't safe for him to sort of be there. Miss Demby. There you go, John. And I was in maybe 9th or 10th grade, I think I was in, and the emotions of just worrying about him all the time, it all finally caught up with me, and I'm at this all-boys school, and I just broke down in the middle of class, and it was awful. It was, because I don't do the crying shit, and I'm not good at it, and I don't care for it, so it was a lot, because this guy and I were really close. He was a really good friend of mine, and God bless you, Tom Makepeace, wherever you are, man. My teacher at the time for pre-calculus, which he should have failed me because I was terrible at it, but he passed me with the lowest grade possible because he said nobody who works this hard should fail, but don't ever take calculus again. But when I broke down in his class, he just kept teaching, let me have my dignity, and I got my shit together fast. But I've always respected him for that, you know? It's tough to say. I don't know. I don't think he's doing great, but I think he's still with us, so that's something, you know? Mr. Hargrove, there you go. Mr. Sharp, says John. Mr. Barbara, weird name I know. There you go. You know, and that's the stuff we got to celebrate. We got to celebrate those folks. I mean, if people were to ask me, you know, what I try to do every day is I try to celebrate the artists who've influenced me and inspired me. I think about Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. I think about, you know, Dave Stevens. I think about Todd McFarlane, of course, a major influence on me. I think about artists we lost somewhat recently, and very recently in the case of Jason Pearson has inspired me. You know, and just it was always very kind to me when I was at Gaijin Studios. Brian Stelfreeze, my mentor, incredible. Ronald Reagan, yeah, shout out. Shout out to Reagan. Calculus was the hardest class I've ever taken as well. It was just horrendous. Yeah, great teacher he was. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's the list goes on, and that's the great thing. Mr. Crawford. Do you guys know what I mean? I really do believe when we put this stuff out there, wherever people are, I think they hear it. Sometimes people, or they sense it wherever they are in this world or in the next. And I think it's a strange thing to think about, singing the praises of the people who are positive in your life taking the priority. But my God, does it make for a better experience. You know, it really does. I mean, I'm grateful to George Lucas. Where would I be without George Lucas and Steven Spielberg during my formative years? Richard Donner. You know, where would I be without these cats? Bernie Wrightson, where would I be? Frank Frazetta, where would I be without these folks? You know, where would I be without Comicsgate and finding people who, you know, in this passionate audience that I'm a member of, who love buying comics, and then my fellow creators who I can turn to and, you know, for advice, and who have helped to promote the stuff that I'm doing. You know, that's what I think it's so important to cultivate, because it's not something you can really bullshit, because you have to mean it, you know. And it's like, you know, you guys see the stuff I do when I'm working. It's yeah, John Romita Sr. Indeed. Very good call. You're absolutely right. Yeah, it takes some calculus to take that course. Yes, exactly. Miss Kellett. Absolutely. There you go. Mrs. Kellett, I think it is. Mr. Crawford. There you go. I'm making sure I got everybody here. So Mrs. Kellett, I got you on screen. Shanth, you are using the correct mic setting. Oh, oh gosh, what if I'm not? Let me see here. No, yeah, it says the blue snowball is working. I hope it's the right setting. I don't know. Does it sound odd on your end? Let me know. Yes, I'm going to pray for all of those teachers which inspired me, also those which are lost to memory. Amen. Yeah, amen. Yeah, we love sharing our hobby addiction. Yeah, I mean, guys, I was thinking about this the other day. I know Eric Weathers is a massive Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. I know Vaughn is. I know a lot of you guys are. And I just sometimes think, man, we need to have a stream where we just go nuts and share our passion for things like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Maybe we should do that if we do another CG team. We should be doing that. That would be great. Yeah, blue snowball like an icy. Yes, it is. Maybe I might have the sorry if that's horribly loud. I might have the pop filter on something weird or something. I don't know. It could be doing it, but let me know if it sounds any better. Siege Perilous 5x5. There you go. Yeah. Let me see here. Let's see. Mr. Trapanier, or am I pronouncing that right? You can phonetically spell it out for me. Mr. Trapanier. I had some elders who were big. Pastor Ron, Alan Shell, Shale, is that it? Or Shell? Let me know. I still have my copies back from the 80s. I have some second printings from the 80s, and I rebought my first graphic novel from the 80s. I rebought one, and then I have a reader copy that was from a little bit later, but I love my Ninja Turtle comics. I have the second printing of issue 2, I think a couple of other ones. Sounds good over here. Glad to hear it. Tammy D, come back. I know we missed Tammy D. Oh, Tripanier. So Tripanier. But much love. Norm McDonald, indeed. Alan Shell, there you go. Excellent. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate the help with that. Because it's, there's so many great things. Like, I get inspired when I kind of wake up to go about this work that I'm doing here. This never-ending battle, as my friend and brother Arvin Bautista says. He's an artist and a comic book artist, a damn good one. But whenever I come to my desk, it's never the stuff that I'm against that inspires this work. It's the stuff that I'm for that inspires the things that I do, and the stuff that's inspired me. Because if this book was an I told you so or an anti-book, it wouldn't have anywhere near the beauty that a for book has. This is a book that is for what we're trying to do in this independent space, for what we're doing in Comicscape, for what Shanthan Jetty art is about, and what I'm about as a person. You know, these are the things that I support. That's why I can't really get too much into political work, because it's got to be somewhat against things. And all of us have stuff that we want to share with you guys that is beautiful, and we don't want to lecture you guys on what you should or shouldn't be. We want to entertain you, we want to enthrall you, and we want to give you guys stuff that puts a smile on your face. And when you get Nosfero, my biggest hope for this book is that you guys either don't care what condition the book is when you're done with it, so you can take it out every now and again just to look at the beautiful paintings and remember some of the beautiful artwork and story moments in it. But if you are the kind of person, buy a second copy so you can wreck one copy, because I do think art is meant to be looked at, and I do think it's meant to be experienced. And that's why I have some very well-loved Frazetta books and some very well-loved books by a lot of my favorite creators. And it's a big thing, man. You know, it's a big thing. Oh, the mic gain might be a little low. Dang, how did that happen? Hang on, let me look at it. About this. Watch an old man try to solve a problem. God knows where it's going to go. Sound out. Whoa. Okay. Sound output input. Let's go there. Me raise. Wait, input. Let me know if. Let me see here. Let me know if that sounds any better. Does that sound like it's got a little bit more power to it? How's that? Any better? Let me know if that, Samwise Gamgee, there you go. Yeah, you gotta represent. Yeah, that story better be friggin' poetic, Sean. I hope it is, because if it sucks, it's gonna be terrible. That's why I got 2 copies. Thank you, Cranberry Langers. The only anti and I Told You So books that work are Brave New World, Animal Farm, Darkness at Noon, and 1984. Yeah, absolutely. Frodo Baggins. There you go. Yeah, let me know if that audio sounds any better, and I'll see if there's anything else I can do with it. But let me see. Yeah, I just rate. Well, what was that for? Oh, did I do Blue Snowball? That's the one it should be on. I hope that sound. Does it sound any better? I'm hoping that it's all right. Oh my lord, you never know. All right, let me see here. That story better be poetic. Yes, audio sounds fine to me. All right, Antoine. Yeah, politicization of art ties it to an era and is prone for expiration. Yeah, and I will tell you this too about that, is that art, Prospero, there you go. Here's what I'll say too, is that art is not political, art is aesthetic, right? And so what they have smartly done, when people talk about what is the conspiracy is to make everything political, including human beings, to make everybody a political abstraction, right? And so what I think about when it comes to all of this kind of work is to drive the politics out of it. And I told my friend that the moment that the sciences were taken was when the discipline of political science came into being, and the social sciences. That's when science fell. That's when that stuff, collapsed. And I always say that the thing that we have to do is make sure that political comics and all art being political is the thing we fight back against, in the sense of that we don't let it consume our work, because I do believe in that quote, if you want to send a message, call Western Union. I really do. Art should be aesthetic, it should be beautiful, and it should serve, as James Joyce said, it should serve the things that are proper to art, not the things that are proper to politics. That's never what art's job has been. Let politics be politics, let art be art. That to me is that's making art too small. Things like life, family, friendship, love, those are the things that make for enriching experiences. sharing things like this is what it's all about for me. Romeo and Juliet 96. 10 Things I Hate About You. 2 different stylistic takes on Shakespeare. I still like them both. I love hearing that. That is a very interesting artistic insight. I love when people share the movies they like and the stories they like, because it always it's that's close to people, Yeah, political science is the worst grammatical oxymoron ever put onto human beings as valid. You're right, absolutely. Art creation is so interesting. Loved watching Charlie Snogans. Yeah, absolutely. Go from a scribbled mess to a finish to finished was inspiring like magic act on Fragtober 2020. Yeah, man, that stuff is crazy good, man. And I've got that book over here too. I've got Fatal right over there. And yeah, it's great to see that stuff come together, man. It's great to see all of this stuff come together. And once these books are done, the cool thing about them is that they're done. They can be reprinted. They're out there in the world. This is the hardest part of Nosfero. This is the hardest part of doing any of this work. When you're telling people, to just, that you're going to do this thing, to trust this vision of this thing that is, going to be, finished. Thank God for that. And also is going to be beautiful. And you win that by showing them that you are capable of making beautiful work. Like, there's all those different factors to it. But it's what makes what we do in this space so incredible, is that people like Michael Bancroft and people like myself and people like Eric Weathers and people like, Rob or Clint or, any of, again, the Vaughn, the CG team guys, like, who was telling me about it? I think Michael Bancroft was saying this on his stream the other day, that he was saying, back Terror in the Trenches, you're gonna love this book. He goes, I know, because I looked at it for pre-press and some things, and it's beautiful. And I've seen a lot of the Lucent Painted Death. Michael's got my book, and he's looking at it right now. What's up, Julie Pascal? It is so great to see you. Hail to you and hail to the chat. Yeah. Art serves to inspire, politics serve to govern. 2 completely different objectives, and never the twain shall meet. I will say this. And I hate to correct anything, but only because I think it's important for us to remember. Art serves to inspire, civics serves to govern, and politics serves to manipulate. Chris Claremont, shout out indeed, man. Yeah, it's a great book. I hope Clint re-releases it too. I look forward to Nosfero 3, still Nosferin. That's what's going to be. That's right. He's going to be in a lowrider. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. Yeah, everybody's saying hello, hello, hello. Great to see you, awesome one. How are you doing? Coming out of a beautiful thunderstorm. I actually love thunderstorms every now and again, as long as, they don't hit my house, but I do love them. That's great. Oh, Bancroft is on Narwhal right now. Oh, that's awesome, guys. That's great. Did they just start? Holy cow. Yes, that's better, Sean. Oh, I'm so glad to hear it, John. If they just started, I'll wrap this thing up, because we're almost at 2 hours anyway, and I want to send you guys over there. I don't know how to do that exactly, but if they're having a big conversation over there, then I want you guys to go over there and check it out and say hello to my Nosfero bro Narwhal, man. That's great. So did they just start, or have they been going for a while? I have no idea. When I looked and checked my subscriptions, I didn't see anything, but you never know. Let me know in the chat. Let's see here. Go for a walk with your lady, says John. You're absolutely right. It always should be done. It's 4:20. I feel weird stopping the stream. It's 4:20 here. I don't want people to get the wrong idea. But yeah, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for backing Nosfero. Just 5 more days, and we are closing out that campaign, and we'll be on to the next thing. Thank you for being in here and checking out this painting process on my painting for Michael Bancroft's Painted Death. If someone could drop the link to the stream, Narwhal stream, if one of the mods could do that, I want you guys to go on over there. Do tell them Shanth raid, even though I don't know how to actually set up raids. And you guys have a great Sunday and a great rest of your day. I appreciate being here with you guys. It's wonderful, Much love, much love. Really glad I could give you a little nugget of fun factoids. Yeah, absolutely. See, look, you guys are educating each other and me too. Nosfero 4, Nosfero Harder. Started 21 minutes ago. All right, you guys, get on over there and kick ass, okay? Thank you so much, guys, for being here. Have a wonderful Sunday. It's always a pleasure. Someone please drop the link. There it is right there from Awesome One. Thank you so much, guys. Head on over there. I'm going to play our credits for our channel members, and I appreciate you guys so much. You guys are the best. Have a wonderful Sunday. I will see you soon. speak easy, stay gold, keep the faith, and as always, guys, peace. Because that is what my name means. Yeah, Tear in the Trenches. Yeah, absolutely, man. It is going to be crazy. All this stuff is great. And tell the boys I said hi. All right, take care, everybody, and we are out of here.